Welcome to Yahweh's Aroma. Today we're going to be talking about unleavened bread. See me do any more of these types of Bible studies that we're going to be doing, leave a comment below. We got a comment below about unleavened bread, and so today we're going to be doing a Bible study about unleavened bread. So unleavened bread is actually used in the Bible 60 times. So 51 times that was in the Old Testament, 9 times in the New Testament. The first time that unleavened bread was actually mentioned is in Genesis in chapter 19 verse 3. It says it talks about like when Lot was visited by the two angels, and the two angels came in and they were going to try to warn him that, hey, you got to get your family out, Sodom and Gomorrah, there's going to be fire and brimstone raining down on top of you. So the angels came in, they came on Lot and was like, hey, I'm warning you. And so Lot actually brought them into their house and he told them to come in, and he actually fixed a feast. And the feast that they were doing, it had unleavened bread that was involved in it. Right there was the first time unleavened bread was mentioned in the Bible. So in Exodus chapter 12, unleavened bread was used more times than in any other book of the Bible. In preparation for the Passover, when God sent the worst plague possible that he could have sent, was taking the firstborn of whosoever didn't have the blood that was on the doorpost. And the death angel would come in, and if they saw the blood, they would pass by and not take your firstborn. But if you didn't have the blood that was on the doorpost, they would actually take, the death angel would actually take the firstborn. In verses 15 and 19 of the same chapter, it tells you that not only were you supposed to take the leaven out of your bread, but also you had to take it out of your house. So they had to actually clean the house up. They had to sweep the floors. They had to clean all the tables and everything else off. They had to clean every bit of it to get every bit of the leaven out. There could be no leaven in the bread or in the houses for 7 days. But in Leviticus chapters 2 and 6, it starts getting into like the grain offerings and stuff like that. Leviticus is all about the different types of offerings and stuff like that. But in the grain offerings, you had to use unleavened bread for your grain offerings. According to Numbers chapter 6, the Nazarites, they had to take a vow. Some of the vows were you couldn't drink any kind of strong drink. You couldn't have any kind of wine with vinegar. You couldn't have vinegar of any kind of strong drink. You couldn't have liquor of grapes, whether they were moist or dried. You couldn't touch anything dead. And Samson be like,
look, man, it's a dead animal. Oh. Hey man, Samson, I don't know how you gonna go over there and find a dead animal that stink that bad. You gonna touch it with your hands? There's a problem with you, bro.
And there couldn't be no razor that touched the locks of his hair. And again, Samson, be like,
tell me, please.
I'm not telling you.
Just tell me, please.
I'm not telling you.
Just tell me!
I tell you anything as long as you play with my hair.
And there were other things as well. But in verses 15 it tells you that not only did you have to abide by all those other rules, but at the same time you had to eat unleavened bread. In Deuteronomy and Joshua, they were both talking about it, unleavened bread, but it was all about the Passover. In Judges, there was this angel that came to Gideon, and this angel was telling Gideon that you were actually going to come and you were going to take over the Midianites. Israel was going to go in and they were going to take over the Midianites. And afterwards, Gideon made some unleavened bread for the angel. And the angel did something really cool though. The angel took the bread that Gideon gave him and he laid it on a rock. And then whenever he laid it on the rock, he took his staff. And then when he took the staff, he touched the bread. He touched the unleavened bread. And whenever he touched it, the rock caught on fire. And it says that the rock consumed the flesh out of the bread. Remember that for later on in the study. In 2 Chronicles, they ate unleavened bread to be sanctified. In order for you to be sanctified, you had to have you had to eat unleavened bread. Matthew chapter 26, when they sat down for the Last Supper with Jesus, and Jesus was there with the 12 disciples. Whenever Jesus was breaking the bread that Jesus was breaking was also unleavened bread. It didn't have any leaven in it. It was unleavened bread. Mark chapter 14 is mentioned again where they were plotting to kill Jesus. And 2 days after the Passover and also the feast of unleavened bread, the chief priests and the scribes sought out to kill Jesus. In Mark chapter 14, it's mentioned again where they were plotting to try to kill Jesus. It was 2 days after the Passover and also the feast of the unleavened bread. The chief priests and the scribes sought out to kill him. It goes on to say that the people were saying, not on the feast day, not now, not now on the feast day, not on the day of Passover, not on the day of the feast of unleavened bread. Reason being is because there was like a holiday, and it's anything like it is today. Like say for instance for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for 4th of July or anything like that, New Year's Eve. We would have family that would come in from all over the places, you know, where if you have family that lives on the other side of the United States, they all would fly in on Thanksgiving and Christmas to be with their family. Excuse me. It says that in the population where Jesus was at that time, it said it's somewhere around 60,000 people that were there. But the scribes and the priests didn't want to try to take Jesus at that time because it could have been anywhere around 250,000 plus. So yeah, 60,000 is a lot of people, but then whenever you have 300,000 people, that is a whole lot of people. So they didn't want to try to go against him. Unleavened bread is also mentioned in Luke chapter 22, but it's the same thing, basically what it was saying in Mark. And this one right here is cool though. In Acts chapter 12, Herod just killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. But then he went and he also grabbed Peter. He grabbed Peter and he went and he threw him in prison. And he was going to keep him in there, and he was intending to show him in front of all the people after Easter. But see, Herod made a really bad mistake. If you also, if you go in there and you read in Acts chapter 12, verse 3, and you go all the way down, and then there's this little parentheses that's right there. If you read that, it says, "Then was the days of unleavened bread." Just look at back in the book of Judges, right, where there was an angel that came down, and Gideon gave him the unleavened bread, and then he touched it, and the flesh came out of the unleavened bread. Just like this right here, the day was unleavened bread. So when Herod took Peter, threw Peter in jail, what came down? An angel came down out of heaven, went in, same cell with Peter. Next thing you know is the angel helped Peter pull out of jail. Whoo! That is a hallelujah moment right there. Anyways, the last place that it was mentioned is in 1 Corinthians chapters 5, verses 7 and 8. Purge out therefore the old leaven, and that ye may be new lump, as ye are unleavened, for even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with the old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So here's my breakdown of the Bible lesson. Y'all ready? I hope you grasp this. So, your body is like unleavened bread, and baking soda, baking powder, yeast are a symbol of sin. That is what symbolizes sin, is those three things that I just mentioned. Anything to make the bread rise. When you get puffed up and when you get big-headed, that's whenever pride starts to settle in. And we all know the old saying about pride coming before the fall. So in other words, when the Israelites had to clean out their houses for 7 days, they had to take everything out of their house that would kind of make them sinful or make them actually turn away from God. So my question to you is what pulls you out? What causes you to get that sinfulness inside of you and want to push you away from God? Is it the cell phones that we carry in our hands? Is it YouTube? Is it Facebook? Is it your kids?
Okay, both of y'all getting on my nerves. Both of you getting on my nerves. Let's go. Get out of the house. Just get out of the house. Get out. I don't know what y'all think is so funny. Y'all gonna get out of this house. Let's go. Get out. Get out. Get out.
What about Instagram? What about Snapchat? Yeah, you might have how many days in a row that you done went with this guy or this girl? How many days? 300-400 days in a row you done Snapchat with this person? Well, how many days in a row have you actually got down and prayed to God? How many days in a row have you actually got in the Word and started reading the Bible? That if your day of reaching out to God is not the same as your Instagram or your Snapchat, then we might have to push that out of our way. These things aren't bad things, okay? People use Facebook for good. People use YouTube for great. Look at the channel. Please like it, subscribe it. You know, but the smallest amount of leaven that you allow into your body makes every part of you sinful. So even the Lord our Savior, Jesus Christ, in 1 John 3:5, there is no sin in Him. Okay? Remember that. In 1 John chapters 3 verse 5, it tells you that there is no sin in Him. That's why when we take communion, Jesus tells us, He took the bread and he took the bread, He gave thanks, and He brake it, and He gave it unto them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Eat it, and do this in remembrance of me. It was unleavened bread which was given to them because there is no sin in Jesus Christ. Hey, thank you for watching this video, and
remember,
Like it and subscribe
and comment below. You know, this is what happens whenever the C-O-R, oh no. You know, this is what happens whenever the C-O-R-O-N-O. Hold up, is it Corona or Corona? You know, this is what happens whenever the C-O-R-O-N-A-V-I-R-U-S takes over America. I've been driving on the road for hours trying to find a dead animal on the side of the street, and I can't find one. Leave a comment below if you actually seen a dead animal here lately on the side of the road. I ain't seen one. I need to find one, and I can't find one. What do they do back in the Bible day for hip replacements?
I'm not telling you.
Jeff, don't look at me, look at her.
I'm not telling you.
Just
Why are you yelling at me?
Y'all just get on my nerves. Just get out. Just go. Go. Y'all can't never shut up. Y'all can't never be quiet. Just go. Just get out the door. Get out. Go. Okay.
Like it.
Hey, remember, leave a comment below. Tell me another Bible study that you want to see. I saw that we had one talking about, hey, give me something about the end times. That will come, but that right there is actually going to be probably like a 3 or a 4 part. I'm going to try to see if I can get somebody else in here with me to try to help me out, because there are different things that I see, different views from other people, and I like to try to get everybody together. I'm going to try to see if I can get some, a couple of people in here, and then we're going to try to get like maybe a 2 or a 3 part series here. And we'll try to get that to you. But please, only had 3 comments on the last one. Give me some more comments. I need to have some comments so I can make some material. Thank you. Have a good day.